Welcome to Motherhood. Whether you're 18 or 80, Dr. Christina Hibbert, clinical psychologist, author, and mother of 6, is here to help you through the ups and downs, the joys and frustrations, the new information from experts, and the stories of happiness and heartbreak from real moms. Remember, if you can, tell your mama to listen too.
And I'll make everything all right.
Here's Christy.
Welcome to Motherhood, everybody. It's me, Dr. Christina Hibbert, and I am here for our 100th Motherhood Radio / TV episode today. Woohoo! I can't wait to share this episode with you. We have such a fabulous topic and lineup today. We have a bunch of our past guests from Motherhood Radio, experts and mothers who have some great advice for you to share as we talk today about some of the best advice ever for mothering, for parenting, and for just getting it done, right? Today we're going to talk about mastering motherhood. Now, this is the topic, or actually the title of a new book I'm working on, Mastery of Motherhood. And I've been working on this for several months, but I haven't actually started writing. But I've been working on it in the sense of going around the country. I put out several months ago a post saying, hey, if you want me to come and speak to your mom's group or women's group about mastery of motherhood, invite me and I will come at my own expense. So I've been able to go and speak in Pennsylvania and in Chicago and in Utah and in California, in different locations, and in Arizona, all over my state. And it has been so fun and fabulous. And I'm going to New York in a few months. So I have learned a ton from talking with moms like you and getting to know and hear your stories. And it is really inspiring me. What I was trying to do is gather some research for this new book and put it together and make sure that I had practical resources and stories and, understanding from the moms like you and me who are out there doing it every day. And that led to, me getting ready to write this book, which I'll be doing soon here to start writing, and to today's topic, mastering motherhood and the best advice ever. So I asked, just like I did on the road, I asked the experts, the people who've been on this show, who've shared so much great advice and wisdom so far, what they think about mastery of motherhood and what their best advice for motherhood is. And so we've gathered together some of the best and their best advice. And so today is packed with usable tips and advice that you can take and begin working with right now today. What a better way to spend the 100th episode than with the best advice ever. And I've got some of my own. So stick with us here. And of course, I'm so grateful you've joined us here on Motherhood and that you join us here hopefully each week or as often as you can. Be sure to subscribe. So if you are on iTunes, you can subscribe there. You can subscribe through YouTube to watch the TV version. You can go to my YouTube channel, Dr. Christina Hibbert, and look up our playlist for Motherhood TV and subscribe there so you get notified when all the new episodes come. And of course, if you'd like to engage and talk with me and talk with our guests, be sure to join our Facebook group, Growing Through Motherhood. That took me a moment. Growing Through Motherhood on Facebook. So be sure to check that out and join the group. We'd love to have you there. And you can find us on Instagram, motherhood.tv as well. Now, without further ado, I want to start getting into our best advice ever. Now, as I was saying, I was going around doing this mastery of motherhood and talking to moms and trying to give a service of sharing some ideas about what I thought. But the first thing I did was ask them what they thought. So I wanted to know what they thought to gather research and at the same time offer something to hopefully help them feel like maybe it is possible to master motherhood. So I went around and I was asking all these different moms from different walks of life in different parts of the country, of the United States at least, and asking them, first of all, mastery of motherhood, do you believe it's possible? And I got so many different responses. Usually it was a couple of people would say an absolute yes, maybe one or two, maybe. Some would say a tentative yes, like maybe it's possible if this were different and if I thought this differently and if I changed this about myself, then maybe it's possible. And then there was this overwhelming kind of, at least half the group, Of course, a lot of people didn't respond or didn't want to talk, but that would say, no, it's not possible. How could I master something that I struggle so much with, that I'm working so hard on, that I feel like I am just not getting right? And what I started to hear over and over was, how can I master motherhood when I feel like I'm not even doing a good job right now, or I'm not where I want to be? How could I ever master this when there's so much to learn, right? So I put the question out to you. What do you think about mastery of motherhood, first and foremost, before we hear from our other experts and our past guests? What do you think? Is it possible to master motherhood? I mean, obviously, I believe it is, or I wouldn't be writing the book about it, and I certainly wouldn't be doing this show. And 100 episodes worth of ways to help us master motherhood. But I think mastery of motherhood is a little bit different than we believe. And I'll be talking a little bit more about that throughout the show as we intersperse the clips from our guests with some of my own thoughts as well. But I want you to know that you can be part of this. So I really do want to hear from you. You can go to our Facebook group and answer the question, do you believe mastery of motherhood is possible? But also go to masteryofmotherhood.com and take the mom survey. Okay, it should take about 15 to 20 minutes. So yes, it takes a little time, but I really want to know from you what you really think. And I want you to be part of this new project I'm doing. So go to masteryofmotherhood.com and take the survey, complete it the best you can. You don't have to fill out every single answer if you don't want. Some of them are mandatory, but the rest are not. And then there's also a space at the bottom where you can submit a story of yours, or you can email me a story or say, hey, I have something I think could contribute to this, and I really want you to be part of that book and this exciting new project I'm doing. Now, all of these guests today are part of it too, because they've shared some excellent words of wisdom that I'm happy to share with you. And first, I want to start by my own best advice ever. And there's different best advice, but today the one I want to share is to be real. And that's what we try to do here on Motherhood Radio. We try to get real and stay real and be real, and to improve that realness, to improve the things we don't like when we're being real with ourselves, and to change and to grow, right? So what I'm talking about is not trying to be someone that we're not, right? There's this quote in my book. Yes, this is how we grow. And I know it's terrible for me to quote my own book, but I do love this quote. And I wrote it in my journal one day, and it just kind of came from nowhere, but I think it's so true. I wrote, "It's exhausting being who I think I am." And I think that is at the core of mastering motherhood, who we think we are versus who we are. And really, when I've been speaking to these women's groups, a lot of what I end up talking about is self-worth. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today and get some advice on that. But mostly, I want you to think about that. And does that apply to you ever? Is it exhausting being who you think you are? And why do we think we have to be this person or the other? And why does the idea of who we are as a mother and what we think that looks like, why does that have to be so unrealistic sometimes? Are our own expectations unrealistic? I think a lot of times they are. And so to me, mastery of motherhood is all about self-mastery. It's mastering ourselves, just what we do here on the radio show every week. We learn new ways to master ourselves, to master our parenting skills, to master the things that we need to know in order to then give the best for our families, right? That's what we're trying to do here. We're growing through motherhood instead of just going through it. Right? That is really important. We say it all the time, but it's really important. And so for me, being real is a big part of doing that. So we have to get real in order to talk about the real things, in order to admit that we need help, in order to admit that, you know what, I do have strengths. Yeah, I have strengths and I'm good at this, this, and this, and being able to own those and embrace them and use them in our lives. And to say I have weaknesses and I don't like this about me and I don't like this. And, and to not feel like we have to put on this mask and be someone we're not. Especially when you're being mom, when you're a mom and you're with your child, that's you. That's the real you, right? You don't have to have a mask with your child. You're just being you. But then how we present ourselves to the world as moms or women or people, is that in line with that real you, right? So in honor of being real, and if you're on the radio and listening to the podcast version and not the TV version, you might want to go check out YouTube or motherhoodtv.net because I'm about to show you some things. So I'm going to get real right now. So if you're looking at the TV version, you can see me. Okay, my hair looks pretty nice today. Well, that's because I had to fix it. I woke up today and I exercised really hard and my hair was curled yesterday and I thought, okay, good. I don't want to have to recurl it to do a video. And so I exercised and I was sweaty all over. My hair was disgusting, but I didn't want to take a shower and have to dry my hair because it takes forever. And so I just showered my body off and kept my hair. And anyway, I ended up putting a couple curls in it so it looks like this. But if you look in the back, it is like not pretty, okay? It's all sweaty and disgusting and not even combed. And okay, I'm wearing clothes. I put on jewelry. I've got some earrings. I have a nice little bracelet, my ring. I put on makeup today. Okay, I got ready. But I want to share a secret. Almost always, because I record from home. I record from my home office. I see clients at my work office and I do all my creative pursuits from home. I almost always am wearing something very comfortable on the bottom. And so today I have my normal shirt, but, oh, and you can see the mess too, okay? But I have my pants, my little cozy pants, and my wonderful slippers on. Sometimes I just have like pure sweats, and sometimes I just have yoga pants or my workout clothes, and I just put on a shirt. There are days where I record 2 motherhood episodes or videos, and I will just have on like my workout pants or my pajama pants even sometimes, and then I'll go and I'll take a shirt and I'll put it on and get all dressed one way, and then when I record another one, I change the shirt, and the bottom is still looking hideous. And yes, it looks all nice and clean because I keep this part clean. Now, this is the closet of my office, which happens to also be the guest bedroom, which is a mess because my husband's been sleeping in there because he has diabetes and he just, he's awake all the time. His blood sugar's been crazy. Okay. I'm also moving to a new room because since, another one of my children left, we only have 3 homes. So we're switching rooms all around, and look at my hideously messy desk. Yes, there is a beautiful sunshine outside today, but just to make sure I look extra good, I have a light. Okay, there we go. And yes, like I said, I always do this little view because if you get it just wrong enough, you can see all the messy shelves or the mess on the floor, which is big mess. Okay, so there you go. That's reality, baby. That's what it is. So here we are. We present our best selves, and of course we're supposed to do that, but can we put a little more realness in our lives and sometimes share these things like what I shared today to show people, hey, you know what? You think that it's all this and that. You think I'm all put together, but really my hair is disgustingly dirty and I probably had to like blow dry the sweat out of it and put a couple curls and put on a lot of makeup in order to make myself not look tired. And here I am doing my radio show, right? So let's get into this topic with all of our fabulous guests. First and foremost, we are going to start with the fabulous Karen Klieman. And Karen is an author of many, many, many books, postpartum. She's a postpartum expert. She started the Postpartum Stress Center in Pennsylvania. She's well known. If you're at all in the field, you know Karen Klieman. And she shared some great advice with us about being real. Karen has been doing this fabulous campaign through social media lately, which is #SpeakTheSecret. And since she specializes in postpartum and she's written like so many books, this isn't what I expected, being one of the first and probably most well-known, but she has so many books. She is at the forefront of being an expert in this topic. And she started this campaign to help us understand that we can be real with what we think and what we're feeling. And here's what Karen said when I asked her, when I sent out the email to everybody, this is what she sent back for her advice. She said, my best advice is in line with our current #SpeakTheSecret campaign to reduce stigma of scary thoughts. Good mothers have scary thoughts. Okay, first, take that piece of advice in. Second, find a safe person. If you feel like you're having scary thoughts, and this happens a lot of times postpartum, but oh my goodness, we've all had those moments where we're like, I'm going to lose it and I just can't handle my kids anymore or whatever it might be, right? So find a safe person, and especially for the new moms, talk about your postpartum depression and anxiety. Talk about it. Speak the secret. And I say for all moms of all walks of life, talk about your depression, your anxiety, your mental health, your needs, whatever it might be, to go right along with what Karen said. We all have our down times, our scary times, the times when we're feeling things we don't want to feel, and speak the secret. Thank you, Karen, for that fabulous advice. And everybody check out postpartumstress.com for more about Karen and all of her books and resources. She's just amazing. Love Karen. Mwah! And that's the other thing about today is you're going to get all kinds of great resources from all these wonderful guests. So next up, we have the wonderful Becky Squire. She is a blogger and a mom. She has her website and blog at makeminehappy.com. Becky, what's your advice for us?
Hi, I'm Becky from Make Mine Happy. Is mastery of motherhood possible? Yes. Is mastery of your child possible? No. And here's the difference. I think it's important to remember that your child has their own agency, and ultimately all you have control over is yourself. So if you can just remember that all you can control is what you teach them, how you love them, and how you protect them, that's what makes you a good parent. Your child will exercise their own agency. Hopefully it is a reflection on what you've taught them, but it might not be. But that doesn't make you a bad parent. So if you can just remember those three things: to teach, to love, and to protect, that's the best parenting advice I've ever gotten, and hopefully it works for you.
Thank you, Becky. It's so important. It's not about mastering our children. And I like to say that too. That's a big part of what I've been, trying to teach, is that our role as mom is a role, but we are us. We are, that role is part of us, but we are not just that role. There is more to us than who we are as a mother. And while that role is incredibly important, and probably for me, the most important role in my life, and for many of you, I think you'll feel the same, we also need to remember that it's not about how our kids turn out, right? This is one of my favorite pieces of advice, that the fruits of motherhood are not how your kids turn out. It's how we turn out. It's how you turn out. So remember that, hear it. We're going to hear a lot more people say, we need to recognize that we're doing a good job and be happy with ourselves. And I hope that we can remember that it's really not about how our kids are doing. Although if they're not doing well, we want to be able to help them and develop the skills, but it's about us then knowing how to respond, how to help them, how to develop the skills, how to get the advice that we need, right? So my sister-in-law, Lindsay, she was a past guest, Lindsay Elmer and her husband, Tyler Elmer. They were both guests talking about their journey with exercise and family and, strengthening their bodies and strengthening their relationships. You can check out that episode a few months back. And she decided to share some wonderful advice with me. She said, I think you can master motherhood to a good degree. Staying close to the spirit and following promptings is the best guide for your own family. As you listen to your kids, they will tell you what they need. Sometimes that means listening with your ears, and sometimes that means listening with your heart. I'm not certain you can be a master of all motherhood, since everyone's situation is unique. I do believe each mother is their children's biggest influence. That can be a scary thing, since we are all imperfect people. I know I am not here to tell them what to do at every turn, but I am here as their guide. They need your structure and boundaries, but they need your love and warmth just as much, if not more. Each child will ask for those things differently. Just try to be patient with yourself and with your children. Ultimately, your love is their highest need. Beautifully said, Lindsay. And Lindsay's a mom of 3 beautiful children and 1 beautiful foster baby, and we really appreciate that. Along those lines, we have Sharon Martin, who is a licensed clinical social worker, and she is here to share a little bit of her thoughts on mastery of motherhood.
Hi, Christy. This is Sharon Martin from San Jose, California. I absolutely believe that we can master motherhood. So to me, mastering motherhood is about being a wise, strong, and confident mother. It doesn't mean being a perfect mother or a parenting expert or somebody who knows everything there is to know about being a mom. So obviously none of us are ever going to know everything about motherhood that could possibly be known. So even when we've mastered motherhood, I think we're continuing to grow and we're continuing to learn. Most of us moms are doing an amazing job. We're skilled and we're hardworking and we give so much to our kids and our families, but we don't give ourselves credit. We tend to notice everything we're doing wrong and we don't think that we're good mothers. So to me, mastering motherhood means that we're going to feel confident and we're going to value ourselves and the gifts that we bring to our role as mothers. My best advice for moms is to be kinder to yourself. Tearing yourself down and berating yourself for your mistakes is not going to make you a better mother. Actually, self-criticism usually makes us feel worse. We tend to feel ashamed and isolated and inadequate, which is not a recipe for a wise, strong, and confident mother. But self-compassion and self-forgiveness, on the other hand, remind us that we're all in this together. We're all learning, growing, and making mistakes. And we can be our best selves when we give ourselves loving kindness. So I hope that you will say something nice to yourself or do something nice for yourself today and every day, and actually many times throughout the day, because it's from that place of loving ourselves that we can love our families and our kids even better.
Yes, Sharon, I so agree with everything that you said. First of all, everybody, you can find more about Sharon Martin at livewellwithsharonmartin.com. I know that self-worth is at the core of our ideas of whether or not we can master motherhood and who we are. And we must be kinder to ourselves. And for everybody out there who feels like you're struggling with self-esteem and self-worth, there are so many things we can do to build that confidence, to build that sense of worth and who we really are. So thank you for that, Sharon. And this goes right along with what Myrna Haskell has to say. Myrna Beth Haskell is a writer. She's also the founder and editor of Sanctuary Magazine, which you can find at sanctuary-magazine.com. And here's what Myrna had to say. I believe that if we think of mastery in terms of perfection, then the answer is no. But if we think of mastery in terms of our absolute best effort, then the answer is yes. Moms tend to put too much pressure on themselves to be perfect moms. Instead, we should focus on the best way to encourage our children to grow to be their best selves and to be good citizens. This includes always being there for your child, no matter what. Listening to his or her needs, and showing them how to learn from mistakes. Just as your child will make mistakes, so do we as parents. It's how we learn from our mistakes, those that help us to become a better parent, that help us master motherhood. If you say to yourself, my most important job is that of parent, you are well on your way. Thank you, Myrna Beth Haskell from Sanctuary Magazine. Again, sanctuary-magazine.com. I couldn't agree more. Just exactly what we were talking about. Next, we have Nicole Bolden. And as we're talking about self-worth and self-esteem, we have a couple of people whose best advice were right along the same alley. And Nicole Bolden is a counselor. You can find out more about her and her work at thrivingwithbaby.com. And let's hear from Nicole.
The loving yourself, you have to know yourself and love yourself first.
Yeah. So, and why do you think that is so important for mothers in particular?
Because we are pulled in so many directions. We're told to like this and like that and do this and do that. And we can really get so overwhelmed with doing the best stuff, this best interest, that we really forget to love what we are good at.
Yeah.
I'm not good at the Pinterest stuff, and that's okay, but I'm good at cuddles. I'm good at laughter, and that is okay. I am still a great mom just because I'm the best color they can have, so just love your strengths as a mom and be okay with that. We're not all mothers aren't supposed to have the same strengths.
That's right. No. Yeah, and we can't always do that. That's right. And play to your strengths, right? Like, love yourself and see your strengths. And then, like you say, if you're a great cuddler and a good laugher, like those are two great qualities. I'm thinking everybody wants a mom who's a great cuddler and a great laugher, really. So embrace it and then use it and show your kids, right?
Yes. And just be okay with that. Be okay with the failures. Not every day is going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Some days you may scream and you're like, oh my gosh, my kids are going to forever be traumatized. No, they're not. They're going to forget in like an hour, and they're still going to be under you trying to kiss you and say, mommy, mommy, please.
Yes.
They're not like us. They are so forgiving.
Yeah.
So we may have an off day. They're not going to forever be traumatized. Let it go and move on just like your kid did.
Love that. That is perfect. Thank you so much, Nicole Bolden. And you can find out more about Nicole at thrivingwithbaby.com. Tennille Shanae is another of our former guests. She is a fabulous young woman with tons of energy. She does all kinds of work helping young people, especially young women, to discover their self-worth. So, Tennille, what do you have to share with us?
Hello, my name is Tennille Shanae, and my best advice ever for motherhood is progress over perfection. We are all going to mom different, and no one can do what you do the way you do it. Your kids need to see you fail and forgive. They need to see you battle and how you deal with that battle so they can learn that trials are okay and real. They need to see you recognize it's not what happens to you, but how you deal with it. Overall, you are worthy, known, and loved. You are worth it as a mom, and you are the only one that can love your kids the way you love them. You have a beautiful power of influence, and just as you are, in progress is just what they need.
Amen, Tennille. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. I hope you all wrote that down out there. And you can find more about Tennille at Tennille, Tenielle, Shanae, SHENAE.com. Now, I recently did an interview with a colleague of mine, Dr. Erin Joyce, and wanted to share a little bit of that interview and what she said her best advice was. So I've got with me Dr. Erin Joyce, drerinjoyce.com. You can find her there. Erin, what's some of the best advice you have as far as mastering motherhood or parenthood or just being a parent in general?
Yeah, so there's so much information out there as far as parenting books and classes kind of telling you, oh, this is the way to do it, or the right way, or the best way. And I think you try your best, and obviously every child is different. So what works, for one child might not work for another. And if you feel like you have maybe fallen short, that is it's a good lesson, growing experience for both you and your child. And I think sharing that with them, and being open about that, like, okay, I didn't handle that as well as I would have liked to. And just being transparent. And I think it shows your child that it's okay to not always do things right the first time. And I think it's preparing them for the real world, that this is what happens, that, we sometimes fall short, and it's okay. So,
yes, I love that. That's such important advice. And to admit when you're wrong, like you're saying, to not feel like we have to hide that, but to be able to say, I messed up and I'm sorry and it's okay.
Yeah, no, totally. It's like my husband always says, he's like, I want us to have well-adjusted children. And I think that is, that maybe is not clear exactly what that means always, that word well-adjusted, but I think it's when you're flexible, you're able to, to deal with when things don't go exactly, how you plan, or, quote unquote, the right way, that you can kind of just roll with that and realize that life can be messy, especially with kids. And yeah,
that's right. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Everybody visit drerinjoyce.com.
Thank you.
It really helps, doesn't it, to hear from so many different people from so many different walks of life. I mean, I haven't been telling you where they're all from, but from all different states, all different places, and now from all different countries. We have with us next some advice from Robin Pierce, and she is from New Zealand. She's been on the show a couple of times talking about time management, and she has a new book out specifically for parents, which is Getting a Grip on Parenting Time, 86 Common Sense Lessons from the Trenches. She has many children and many grandchildren herself, and she's just a fabulous resource. So she shared a little glimpse into her book, and this is her lesson 2, which is called Count Your Hats. I love this. This is so good. So hang in there with me while I read this to you and share this with you, because there's so many great tools in this. Here's what she says, Robin Pierce. We constantly hear the work-life balance drum being beaten these days. Do you sometimes wonder if you ever stumble across that mystical holy grail of perfect life balance? Or does it seem like that only happens for others? If life is too busy, maybe it's time to step back and evaluate. Are you trying to fit in too much into every day, every week? How many roles are you currently committed to? Okay, this is a good question. We're going to break here for a second, because you have your role as mom. That is a huge role. And for a lot of us, it takes up almost all of our time, right? But what else do we have commitments to? What other roles? Maybe you're a spouse or a partner. Maybe you are, a career woman, or you have a job that you work at, whatever that might be, right? So here are some of her questions. Take a minute to count up all the roles you juggle. And we know this list can include many things. She says, how many categories do you have? And have you included a resting or timeout category for yourself? We're now hearing the term energy management instead of just time management. Oh, I hope everybody heard that. This is so important from Robin. Energy management, it's more about energy management than just time management. And I think there's nobody that it's more so true for than for moms. She says, consider these the multiple hats you wear. Can you grade each on an energy ratio? Most of our close relationships are non-negotiable. Sorry, you can't return that messy 12-year-old. But what about some of the more peripheral ones? When do you experience your highest energy? What lights you up? What drains you? Do you find yourself reluctantly putting in the hard yards on some of those committees and activities? Are you feeling stretched like a sick rubber band as you run your children to endless classes and events, leaving no time for relaxing? There are no prizes for being a martyr, she says. Now, I want to pause there. Everybody listen to that. There are no prizes for being a martyr. Why do we kill ourselves and beat ourselves up when we really don't need to do that? To be a really great mom, you don't have to kill yourself in the process or lose yourself in the process, as many, many moms do. To continue with Robin, the kids won't suffer if they don't belong to all the same clubs and activities as the other kids down the road. I've often heard young parents say, I want to do the best for them. If they don't get the opportunity to do fill in the blank, it might spoil their chances to succeed. But the most important thing you can do is have a harmonious home. Stressed and exhausted parents will have grumpy, tired kids who only want you, not a million commitments. If we try to do everything, we'll end up doing nothing properly. We'll also burn out, be snappy, poor company, tired parents and lovers, and less than effective workers. Look for the things to let go of, commitments, additional roles, projects, even magazine subscriptions, so you can have some time to relax as an individual and as a family. And that is Robin Pierce from her latest book, Getting a Grip on Parenting Time. And you can find out more about her books and Robin at gettingagrip.com. Thank you, Robin. And everybody, I hope you heard that. We need to let go. We need to let go of things. This is something I've been studying a lot of lately because it's part of my research for thinking about how can we master motherhood. We can't do it all at once. We can do everything that we want to do and need to do. Most of us can in our lifetime if we space it out right, but we can't do it all at once. We've got to watch our energy. I love that advice from Robin Pierce. Next, I want to share a little clip from an interview I recently did with Olivia Baylor, and you can find out more about her at her website, liferevisions.com. She's a counselor as well, and she just was sharing some great advice, so I thought I'd share it with you. Okay, I'm with Olivia Baylor, and she just shared a great tip, and I want to add it into my 100th episode because so many moms ask me all the time, how do you do it? How do you have kids and write books and, work and see clients and do all these different things? And you just gave the secret right here. So tell the moms listening what you just told me.
So when I wait in line to pick my kids up from school,
which is a long wait.
Yes.
It's a very long wait. She has to get there like an hour early, right?
Just to pick them up. Yes. I typically, when I wrote my book, that's where I did majority of my book was sitting in a van waiting to pick them up from school. Then once they got to the van, the copy went away and it was mom, I was the soccer mom all over again.
I love that. I love that because there are so many moments like that where we could be, quote, waiting, but instead of waiting, you're actually doing something. So you're not waiting, you're actually being productive and doing, taking care of something that's important to you.
That's right. That's right. There's always time.
That's right. You just got to look for it. And when you're a mom, you kind of have to just like fit it into these little cracks that appear. But it can be done.
It can. It definitely can. It's interesting though, as you're like typing away.
Yes.
In the minivan.
I have a picture of me. We went to Lake Powell when my first book was being published. It was due to my editor by Monday morning at a certain time, and we were at Lake Powell, which is this huge lake, and we were way out. And so we had to drive by boat an hour back, and I hadn't quite finished. So I'm in this boat, which my husband was driving with our youngest, who was like 6 at the time, in his lap, and she was really driving while he was sort of like this. And I'm trying to type and finish while we're driving. And then we get to the dock where there's Wi-Fi, and I finally send it off, and I'm like, this is ridiculous, but we do what we have to do. We find the cracks, we find the crazy moments, and we get it done when the season of life is right. Because that's the other thing I would add to that is sometimes it's not your season to be writing a book. It's your season to be taking care of babies or whatever. I mean, your children are 6 and 7, right? So
yeah,
wait for the right season when it can happen, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I waited. I knew I have all my ideas in my idea book, and now that they're at school, like right now we're having the podcast, they're at school.
Yes, yay! That's right. It will happen, everybody. If you have little ones at home that aren't in school yet, it is nice. Once they're in school, you have that time where you can do it. So
it's a beautiful time.
Patience. Yes, that's right. It is a beautiful time. All right. Thanks, Olivia. And I just want to echo what Olivia was saying there, that we really do have to get creative when it comes to how we get things done and how we master our version of motherhood. And when you really want something that's for you, you can make time for it, whether that just be exercising, getting a little bit of rest, taking care of yourself, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, or like Olivia said, writing a book, right? That's how I did it, 10 minutes a night for many, many years, and then eventually work up to more time, find creative ways to get it done, right? Now, I've got 2 more guests that sent in some words of advice. As you can tell, some sent in audio clips, some sent in video clips, and some just sent in some typed up words that I'm reading for them. The first is the fabulous Kaylor. She is, I remember her from back in the day doing exercise videos with her. She's a top fitness expert and a radio host as well in Los Angeles. You can find her at Kaylor, KAEHLER.com. And Kathy was just very sweet. She sent a very quick message saying, my best advice for motherhood is 2 parts. 1, take care of yourself first. You are no good as a mom if you are tired, out of shape, malnourished, disorganized, and the list goes on. You are number 1. Treat yourself that way. And I echo that. We're going to talk about self-care in a moment. And part 2, Kathy says, listen to motherhood radio and TV always. Christina is the best. That is very sweet. Thank you, Kathy. And yes, you're obviously listening if you're hearing this right now, but tell your friends, right? Tell your friends to come find us and listen. Now, next is Valerie Lynch. She is the author of The Mommy Plan, and you can find out more about her book and her at themommyplan.com. So Valerie Lynch shared a little bit of advice about, being recovering after you have a baby. And this is specifically for our postpartum moms. So we do need to put ourselves first. And again, putting yourself first doesn't mean me first. It's just saying me too. And if I'm not well, then the trickle down effect, right? So we have to be well in order to then have everybody else be well. And so that's what we mean by putting ourselves first. And what about when you just had a baby? I mean, there's no time like postpartum when you really need to take care of yourself. And here's what Valerie has to say. She said, I want to give this advice to expecting mothers and their families to think that the recovery from the natural trauma a woman's body experiences from childbirth, even a cesarean, does not need specific nutrition, care, and personal attention. It does. A post-baby body has new, temporary, nutritional, dietary, physical healing, and hormonal needs. Also, the target week to begin a recovery plan is the first week. When new mothers have their fill of research about pregnancy, begin planning their recovery by week 20 for at least the first 6 weeks after they give birth. Ample research shows that having a planned recovery with specific nutrition, diet, personal body care, mental health awareness, and the most common feeling and experiences that they will have will prepare the mother and her family for the first few weeks that are normally so trying as they welcome a new member into their family. And absolutely, I agree, Valerie. We have to prepare ahead of time. And that goes for, if you're going to have a baby, why not prepare for your pregnancy? Why not prepare then for postpartum? And then we can prepare for later in motherhood through listening to some of these episodes. A lot of these episodes are for specific times, like Parenting Teens episode, or talking about when your child leaves the home. And we can listen and prepare and gain our skills and our toolbox and grow that toolbox so that we're ready when the time comes. Next up, we have Katy Richardson. She is a great example of what you can do as a stay-at-home mom. She started her multi-million-dollar business, Pudge Baby. So it's pudge.com, Puj.com. She started it when she was a stay-at-home mom and just wanted to develop a product and try to sell it and get it out there and make it the best it could be. And now she is doing amazingly well. She has 4 children. She'll tell you a little bit more about herself, but let's listen from Katie's advice. And then we will hear from Sophia Wiseone. She was a recent guest on the show as well. You can find out more about Katy at katyrichardson.com and Sophia at sophiawiseone.com as well.
Hello, Motherhood Radio. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. I'm Katy Richardson. Many of you know me as the founder of Pudge. We make the coolest baby gear, so if you haven't seen it, go to pudge.com. But I am a mother of 4 and also an entrepreneur, and I'm super passionate about motherhood. This is a topic that I'm always studying. I'm trying to refine my skills and abilities as a mother, and so I love that we're talking about this today. What is my best advice ever when it comes to motherhood? This one's gonna sound crazy and so counterintuitive, but my best advice, and I talk to a lot of moms, especially very, very busy moms, and the first thing I wanna know from them is, are you taking care of you? What are you doing to take care of you? What does your morning look like? Are you exercising? Are you eating the right foods? Are you drinking enough water? Are you getting healthy greens in your body? Are you saying no to the sugar? What are you doing to take care of you? Are you taking time to connect? Either meditate or read your scriptures or pray. Are you taking the time to go exert yourself and sweat? What are you doing to take care of you? Are you putting the phone down and connecting with your kids? Are you putting the phone down and being present during dinner? Are you looking your husband in the eyes and telling him how much you love and appreciate him? Are you doing the same thing with your kids? One of the things that we've always done in our home is both me and my husband each go in and tuck in each of our kids at night. Give them a kiss on the forehead, read them stories. We split up for stories these days. There's 4 and they range from age 13 down to 4. And so we split up for story time, but we take the time to go tuck them each in, tell them we love them, turn the lights out. And then there's even the simplest thing, which is taking 5 minutes to meditate. And I would challenge you to pick a time, same place, every day, 5 minutes. Start there. Give yourself a break. And when we just go, we burn out. And we don't have the love and the patience that we want to give to our children and our husband. So give yourself 5 minutes. If that's where you're at, if that's where you can start, give yourself 5 minutes. Give yourself a break. Because I know that when I am energized, when I'm refueled, when I'm ready for my day, it gives me the strength and energy and love that I want to give to my kids, to my husband, and to my work that I'm so passionate about. So just pick one thing and start implementing that into your life. And then once you feel like you have a good base on that, then build and add to that. Maybe it's with food, maybe it's with your spirituality, maybe it's your exercise, but start building. Start where you're at and start building. You're amazing. I know you can do this. And these simple little tweaks and changes are gonna make the biggest difference in your outlook, in your patience, and your perspective, and in the peace and calm that you feel in your home. Thank you, Christy, so much for this opportunity, and I can't wait to hear from you guys how this is helping you in your life. You guys are awesome, you're amazing. You can find me on katyrichardson.com, or if you want to see some of those really cool children's products, go to pudge.com, that's Puj.com. So stay in touch. You can find me katy.live on Instagram, or you can find me, I post a ton of this kind of stuff on Facebook, Katy Craig Richardson on Facebook. Follow me. I will inspire you. I'll kick you in the butt, and you're gonna find a way to have and live your best life. Love you. Bye-bye.
Hi, Motherhood Radio. I'm Sophia Wiseman, and I want to offer you my best advice. Here's the deal. Your body is on your side. Your symptoms, any symptoms, headache, backache, belly ache, any symptom, skin, vaginal issues, they are communication from you to you. Your body is not out to get you. Your body is constantly working towards an equilibrium, to its own balance as best it can. So my advice is to trust your body and to begin to cultivate a relationship with all of your symptoms from the perspective that a symptom is a phone call from your body. So we can do all sorts of things. We turn off the ringer, we ignore, we pretend there is no phone ringing, and we pick it up and we think we can't understand it and we should just let it go. Get in the practice of picking up the phone and beginning the process of having that conversation with your body. Learn the language of your body. What is it asking of you? I promise you, it will only make you a better mother. It will also teach your children to trust their body and respect their body and respect the messages from their body. Your body gives you a lot of signs before you get to burnout. If you can listen to those signs, respect them, and come up with new ways of moving through the world. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying it's good advice. All right. Thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Christina. You're brilliant. Peace.
Thank you so much, Sophia. That is so kind. And thank you, Katy, for the excellent advice on how to take care of ourselves and to listen to our bodies. Both are so incredibly important. I highly recommend that everybody listening, we go and we write these things down so we don't forget.
Now, as we've talked about whether or not we can master motherhood, we've talked about the importance of being real. We've talked about how we can't seek perfection, but we need to seek progress. We've talked about the importance of taking care of ourselves and, being kind to ourselves. And Katy and Sophia have both shown us different ways we can take care of ourselves by listening to our body, listening to our needs. And as Katy said, it doesn't have to be huge changes. I always say 5%. Just seek to be 5% better in one category, and then you can change and grow that, and you can, pick something else, as she said, and continue to improve if you want. Now, to wrap us up, we have two more fabulous past guests, and they're also fellow Norton authors in the 8 Keys series. My book, 8 Keys to Mental Health Through Exercise, is part of that series. And first up will be Michael Moskalow, Dr. Michael Moskalow. He is a psychologist and an author of 8 Keys to Old School Parenting, which is still one of my favorite books about parenting. So be sure to check that out. You can also find out more about him on Michael Moskalow. It's MASCOLO.com. And then Signa Whitson, who is the author of 8 Keys to End Bullying, and also many other programs, an 8 Keys program for bullying and several other books on bullying. She is a bullying expert. She is a school counselor, and she does fabulous work in this area. And her website is Signa, SIGNE, Whitson, WHITSON.com, SignaWhitson.com. So let's hear what these two have to say with some great parenting advice for how we can actually be the kind of parent we want to be and be there for our children when they need us most.
So you have a stressful household. Yes, that's what comes with having kids. But there are some things you can do to minimize the stress. And I say everything you need to know to minimize the stress comes from one word. And that word is milk. Yes, milk. Think for a moment. 3 scenarios. Scenario 1. Kid comes into the kitchen and says, milk. Do. How you respond to that child's question at this point is very important. Do you say, oh, my love, my sweet little child, you want milk? You're so thirsty. Here's some milk. Let me put some chocolate into it. I'll even drink it for you. Do we do that? No, we don't do that. We don't do it because it's going to cause more stress, because we're going to have an entitled, bratty kid who's disrespectful. That's no good. That's not the way to handle a request for milk. Scenario 2, kid comes into the kitchen, says, milk. What do? Do you say, go to your room? Do you say, go and sit for 3 minutes and time out? Do you say, I'm taking away your privileges for a week? Or even worse, I'm going to slap you upside the head. None of those things. That doesn't help either. Why? Because punishment doesn't work. I know, but it doesn't. Punishment doesn't work, and you know it doesn't work. Because, how do you know? You speed. You speed on the highway. Here you are on the highway. You're driving. You're going fast. What happens? You see a cop. What happens when you see the cop? You slow down because you know you're going to get punished if you keep going. You slow down, pass the cop, and you slow down for 2 minutes. And after 2 minutes, you're back up going 80 miles an hour again. What does it show? It shows that punishment doesn't work. It only works in the short run when the punishing agent is there, the cop. Or it works in the long run only if the punishment is debilitating. So if that cop stopped you, gave you a ticket for $1 million, and sent you to hard labor for 10 years, never, ever speed again. But that's not punishment. That punishment destroys relationships, it destroys people, it destroys bodies, and that's not going to work with kids. Scenario 3 is what we need. Everything you need to know about parenting and stress reduction is in this one little scenario. Child comes in, says, milk. You say, oh, my honey, see, you're thirsty. You want to have some milk? I want to give you some milk. That's fine. But I think you know that that's not the way you ask for milk. How do you ask for milk? I think you know. Child says, Dad, may I please have some milk? And then you say, certainly, my son. Here you go. Here's some milk. Good day. What's happened? A whole bunch of things. 1, you've acknowledged the child's need. 2, you've set high standards for the child by saying, I am not going to tolerate this type of behavior. 3, you have shown the child the correct way to be, while 4, caring for the child. And 5, you don't give the child the milk until they produce the behavior that you're looking for. That's how to reduce stress in the household. Not through punishing and getting the kid to do what you want, not by giving in to the child because we love the child and want them to feel so good. It's by having high standards for our children, loving our children and caring about them, and teaching them how to be successful in the world.
Hi, everyone. It's Signa Whitson. I am a school counselor and author of the 8 Keys to End Bullying activity program. And I wanted to spend a little bit of time today addressing a question that I'm very frequently asked by parents as well as teachers and counselors that I work with. And that question is, what can I do to support my child, to help my child to be there when their friendship has ended or is ending, or they're on the receiving end of sort of a deep freeze. There's 4 sort of constants that I think are especially helpful for adults who really want to genuinely be there for kids. So the first one is the universal make time for the kids, first and foremost. Chances are excellent, actually, that when you first see your child and you ask them how their day was, that they're going to say fine, no matter how terrible, horrible, or just no good, very bad their day actually was. And truly, you're not alone if your child won't give you the time of day when you have time. But know this: when your child does decide that he or she wants to talk to you about what's going on in their lives, particularly with friends, it is critical that you make the time to listen. Number 2, listen, listen, listen. I talk with so many parents who confess to me, I never know what to say when she tells me that she's upset, or she describes to me what's going on. She gets just overwhelmed, and I don't know how to fix it for her. As parents, or as helping adults in general, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to have the magic words and the right answers and to be able to quickly solve our kids' problems. The bad news is that kids' friendship struggles are complicated, just like adult friendships and relationships are. They're not easily fixed by these sort of quickie magic wand solutions. But the good news is that when I talk to young people, and I talk to young people for my career, it happens all the time. When I talk to them and I ask them what they're looking for from their parents, most of them say, I just wish they would listen. Third strategy is helping kids cast a wide net. So, in my experience, one of the best prevention strategies for helping kids cope with friendship troubles is to encourage them to cast a wide net, to seek friendships both in their neighborhood as well as at school, on sports teams, with a youth group, through a club, a team, whatever. Help make sure, and this is the key, help make sure that your kids don't put all their nest eggs into a single friendship basket. Last strategy, resist the urge to speak ill of your child's former friends. I know from personal experience that it can be very tempting, especially if an ex-friend of your child is especially cruel or nasty, but be smart and bite your tongue. Here's why. Kids' friendships change really quickly. And when you trash talk or put down your child's former friend, and then 2 days later they're BFFs again, you sort of put yourself in an awkward position with your child. Even if everything you said about the other person was spot on, and even if at the time your child took comfort in your well-intentioned words, you may well get bumped out of that confidant seat once the two kids are friends again. And we don't want that. We want to be in a position where we can help our kids.
Thank you so much, Michael and Signa, for your parenting advice. They are great tips. Hopefully we'll all put them to good use, everybody, right? Well, we're just about done with our many bits of best advice ever on mastering motherhood. And to wrap us up, certainly not last but not least, is Valerie Touze, or I would say Valerie Touze. I think it's French. That's my best French accent. And Valerie's from London, and she started a company called Edoki, E-D-O-K-I Academy. And you can find out more about Edoki. It's a Montessori-based program that they do these wonderful free apps for people who want to help their children learn in the Montessori way. So edokiacademy.com. You can find those apps. They're wonderful. And she just shared a little bit of advice that I thought was really helpful. Valerie's best piece of advice: to regularly think of observing your child. Observation is very important in the Montessori pedagogy, as she says, and it often leads to a lot of answers. Whether in the heat of a crisis or if you have doubts that need to be confirmed, observing and writing it down will help you understand where your child is coming from, where he or she is going, and it will guide your choices and behaviors in a much more enlightened way. Thank you so much, Valerie. And again, that is edokiacademy.com. And I think this is a perfect way to wrap up, because we definitely need to observe our children and see what they need from us. But guess what? We first need to observe ourselves, and that's what we do here on Motherhood Radio. We hope to provoke you with thoughts and ideas and suggestions and new ways to look at things and new questions to help you observe yourself and to see what you need and how you can respond to your growth needs so that you can then be the best model, as we heard today, for your children's needs and teach them and show them how to create that life that is able to overcome the challenges, to become the best they can be, and yes, to flourish. Yes, it's possible. And yes, it's possible for you and for your family, but we have to be the example as moms. We have to be the ones working on observing ourselves, seeing the reality, and letting ourselves be real to overcome our challenges, to become our best selves, hopefully with us here on Motherhood Radio, growing through motherhood, and then to flourish as well. To all of my fabulous past guests and those who submitted tips and advice today, thank you from the bottom of my heart. This show would be nothing without all my wonderful guests. And if you have an idea or suggestion for a future guest, or if you would like to be a guest on the show, please get in touch with me through my website, drchristinahibbert.com, or you can email radio@drchristinahibbert.com and let me know. I always am looking for fabulous guests to share with you. For everybody out there, it has been wonderful doing these 100 episodes with you. I'm looking forward to the future of some fabulous new, I've said fabulous like a million times today, but I feel fabulous today. So some wonderful, exciting new topics. We're going to focus a lot more on parenting skills and build that toolbox as well as building our toolbox for our own personal growth and development in overcoming, becoming, and flourishing this next year. So be sure to keep coming back and go visit masteryofmotherhood.com to take the motherhood survey and to learn more about my upcoming book, Mastery of Motherhood, and to be part of the book. Share your stories with me, and let's continue to grow through motherhood together here on Motherhood Radio in the next 100 episodes, right? You guys take care. Thank you so much for listening. Again, thank you to you because I couldn't do it without you listening either. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.